Hello and welcome to another random review and how-to. Now I am just redoing my yearly maintenance on my Cub Cadet XT1 7000 series engine lawn mower, riding mower. So the first thing I'm doing here is I'm going to be replacing my oil filter. So I bought this 7000 series engine kit from Cub Cadet, 60 bucks online. You can find cheaper ones on Amazon, of course. I'm going to link to both of them down below in the description. So we're going to be replacing the fuel filter, the air filter with the pre-filter, the two spark plugs that we need on the engine there, the gas filter, our gas filter, and then also it came with oil. So we're going to replace, this is your SAE 10W40 engine oil. So we're replacing all of that. Now the first thing we want to look at is where we're replacing everything. So obviously here's where our oil goes in. My gas is about half full. So in order to replace this, I'm either going to get real messy with it, or I'm going to actually clamp these off so that way it doesn't spill as much. My oil filter here, I'm going to pull out. This is all beat to heck because it was in here super tight, so I had to use some channel locks to get it off. A good little lesson when we're tightening that, we don't have to tighten it super hard. We just have to get it on snug and give it like another half crank. This is where our oil is going to come out of. It's sticking off of this left side of the tractor. And then we have two areas for our spark plugs. One's right here, one is on the other side. And then our air filter is located right up here, right there. There's just two levers that snap open to get that out. So we're gonna pull those up and off. We're gonna pull out our filter. So let's go ahead and start this. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna pull off here is our air filter. So like I said, there's two little clamps here. You pull those back and go ahead and lift this piece off. And then in here you can see our filter is a mess. It's completely dirty. Now you probably could replace this. You could wash this out if you wanted to, but you know, I've had this tractor for about 8 years and now it's just time. It's the first time I'm replacing that. So I have a little trouble getting it started. And so with this, I'm just gonna wrap this piece around here. Try not to break it. Try not to pull it too hard. That's your pre-filter. So I just wanna make sure it's all lined up in those edges there. And then once I got that set, as I'm showing there, all the way around, nice and even. I'm gonna just set this hollow point down, fits right in there. Make sure that's nice and flat and even on both sides. And I'm just gonna go ahead and replace this piece. So it's got to angle forward a little bit, and then you just snap this forward, locks into place. We're all done there. Now over on this side of the Cub Cadet XT1, this is where our oil is all set up. So we have where we put our oil in up here. It's our dipstick that goes in. We got our oil filter here. And then we have the actual drain and plug for the oil. So to get this part off, you're gonna probably have to use channels. It just depends on how tight the manufacturer put it on, how tight you put it on last time maybe. Now, word of warning, as soon as we pull this, there's gonna be oil that comes out. So I did get a tin pan. I'm gonna use this. And then once I fill it up and replace it, I'm gonna actually use this tin pan to put it back into the bottles so that I could dispose of them. So I'm just loosening this up. I'm gonna hold it up a little bit, and then I'm just gonna unscrew it there, as you can see. And then here we go. You can see it start to pour out. Now make sure you set your plug aside. You don't wanna lose that piece. So I always kind of keep everything close. I'm just gonna set this right over here on the stool. And I pull out my dipstick a little bit just to make sure there's air getting in and letting this drain. So this will take a couple seconds to drain. I'm just gonna let it go, drain itself out. Of course, I grabbed the one pan that has a hole in the bottom. So now I gotta get this oil, move it over to here. It's dripping on the ground, it's dripping on the ground, it's dripping everywhere. Great, that's great for your garage floor, what I just did right there. Okay, now that my pan is just finishing some of the last little drips there, and it spilled all over the garage because I'm an idiot, I'm gonna go ahead and take off my filter. So I'm just unscrewing this. Again, I damaged this. There is oil that's gonna drip out of here, but I already got some on the garage floor, so what the heck. So I pulled that off all the way, set that aside, and I'm gonna just hook this new one in, get that on as quick as possible. And that's it. So once it gets tight like that, it's gonna fill itself up with oil, which is exactly what you want. And then you make sure you drain out the oil from your other filter there. Once that's on, I'm just gonna turn it until it gets snug. I don't want it to be super tight. I want to over tighten it like I did last time. Just hand tightening. So there I go. That's as good as I'm gonna get that on. You can see that old one, how damaged it is from me trying to get it out, but it's good to just replace these. This is the second year on this, so every 2 years I like to just replace everything I can. So my oil is all but dripped out. It's just a little drip here that's going on, so I'm gonna go ahead and just cap this. The majority, like I said, is out. I'm not gonna get 100% out unless I just let it sit overnight, which I'm not gonna do. So again, I'm screwing this piece on. I'm just putting this one on a little bit tighter because it does sit on the outside of the tractor and it gets a lot of, I'll say, wear and tear in the fall when I'm running things over, but I'm gonna just tighten it a little bit, not over tighten it. There we go. Now I'm ready to put my oil in. So taking out my dipstick, this is where my oil is gonna go. Now, if you have a filter, I strongly recommend putting a filter in, or not a filter, a funnel. I strongly recommend doing the funnel, but I'm just going to tip this. This nozzle will fit in here. So I'm gonna just start that in there. And now that my oil's in, we're all good there. So again, I spilled it everywhere because I'm bull in the china shop. So I'm just gonna wipe everything down that I spilled on because I am doing this fuel line next. I just wanna wipe all that. Wipe all the interior. I'm gonna definitely spray this off and put some Dawn on it and let it soak because I got gas on the other side I could smell in my garage. So this is a good thing to do, clean all this up. All right, let's move on to the fuel filter. Now for the fuel filter part, you're gonna notice there's two clamps. There's a black one here, yellow one here. You wanna make sure you just note the shape of where things are going. There is a certain flow to how this goes, and if you had this reversed, it's not gonna work as well. So I got my two clamps. What I am going to do is I got two other clamps. These are like wood clamps. And I'm gonna put these right here just to kind of pinch these off. I'm gonna move it as much as I can and then clamp it down. Now, it's not gonna get 100% of the gas to stop from coming through, but it's gonna be enough that I don't spray gas everywhere. Now, I'm gonna just grab this one, move it, grab this one and move it. All right, now I got my next piece ready. Just gonna put my rag down below, and then I'm going to move very swiftly. Make sure this one's far enough down. Just gonna yank, twist, they kind of like twist this off. There we go. Go ahead and twist this one off as well. There we go. There's the old one. Definitely see the color difference in the two there. Okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put our other piece on again. This piece facing this way. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick that in there. Nice and tight. We're gonna go ahead and use our wrench there it's just much easier to grab that piece right there. My hands are all covered in gas and oil. Move that right there to the edge. It's clamped on. Same thing on this side. And then move our clamps. Push this in till it's nice and tight again. All right, I'm gonna move this clamp over. And we don't want to go too far. We want to make sure there's still a little rubber on the other side. We can go ahead and remove our clamps. There we go on the fuel filter. Now we have two spark plugs we're going to replace. These are replacement pieces. We see everything in there looks good. These look white inside, which is important. So we got one here and then we got one on the other side of the engine. So we're going to pull both of these out and replace them. Now, this little engine, this little filter there's in the way. So I just want to grab this because I couldn't get that earlier. So there's that. And then we got ourselves here a 5/8 crescent fits in there. I'm just gonna lefty-loosey that up. I pulled that out. There's the old one. Put that aside. There's our new one. Make sure we get in there. Start the thread. Go ahead and tighten it down there. Again, we don't want to tighten it too much. Nice and snug. There we go. We can go ahead and put the connector back on. It clicks into place a little bit when you push it in, so that's how you know it's on. Make sure you put anything back that you took off, like your fuel filter. There we go. Let's go do the other side. So here we are on the other side. It's directly located on the reverse of where we were. Again, just gently gonna pull this off like this. I don't wanna screw anything up. Put it back on, and there you have it. A little click. We're good to go. So there we go. We did both our spark plugs, our oil filter, our gas filter, and our air filter, all in one day. All your maintenance done there. If you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you want to get this kit, there's links down below. You got questions, put them down below. We answer them. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.